Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world. This is Carol Mathebula saying hi, 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 hi. I'm sitting here with one of the most amazing Brother Shola. He's a storyteller. He's a man with lots of fascinating talents that I think you guys, once you hear him, if you are somewhere in the United Kingdom, you have just entered the United Kingdom and you're on a quest for self discovery, it is a person to search for on the internet in terms of rooting your soul, especially guys. I truly believe that, and we don't see enough men into the side of health and well-being, mindfulness, and I think we need our brothers to go in and to enter the journey of self-discovery. You'll be amazed what you find, because we are all hidden in our cocoons, and some of us, we don't realize that we need to fly out of the cocoon so that we can meet our butterflies, and he's the brother to do that. So brother, welcome, and I think this is it. It feels like we have been fighting with it. Yes. We have been fighting with the technology, but it feels calm. Finally, there's this. Tell people who you are, Brother Shola.
Well, thank you, and thank you also for the introduction, which mentioned qualities of mine that you find to be important for people to know. For myself, I would say that my qualities are not dissimilar from anybody else's, in the sense that I'm a storyteller who is living my story, and that everybody has that potential. So no one is really special, but everybody is special.
Everybody's special.
You know, and of late, as I said to you before, I've taken to calling people kings and queens, not because I am giving them, or not because I'm giving myself subject status,
right?
But what I'm saying is that within everybody is the power to order their lives in ways which are healing and which bring wealth. And when I say wealth, I mean it in the Yoruba sense of ire, which means wealth, like wellness, all things, not just material wealth or money, but a whole universe of positive things are defined in that term, ire. And we all have the capacity to bring that into being, into manifestation, through our, if you like, the part of our mind which is able to direct the deeper part of our mind, which is often called the subconscious or the unconscious. And storytelling has an important part to play in that.
Yeah. Now, having to be, I love this discussion, because I'm also going to ask you questions which are very important to me, especially in this 21st century where we're living in, where there's so much peer pressure in all angles of life, either spirituality, either you're a man or either you're a woman. The world is changing. The world is not as we used to know it. And the more the world changes, the more people, sometimes they find themselves completely confused and puzzled. So my question to you is, as you were born here, this was a question that I asked earlier. Let me maybe rather start with that. Now, being of African descendant and having to be born here, and when I spoke with you the last time, what I realized was that it seemed for me as if you just arrived from Africa, with this humbleness, with this this respect of ancestral people. I hear people talking about these things. Now, talking and being, it's different. You are very, very rooted into the voice of an African king in your voice. And what inspires that, and how did you keep that? What were the challenges that you have went through as a person, and that made you to finally preserve you?
Well, probably people, you will resonate with some of the things that I say, because it's been a journey, and I was very lost for for a very long time. I grew up in an area called Disbury in Manchester, and in this area, our family was, you may as well say we were the only black family, although there were others, but we didn't really relate to each other. So all the people around me were white people, and which is neither here nor there. But what was important about it was that I believed terrible and negative things about myself. So I thought I was ugly, and I thought I was ugly inside and out. I didn't really have any respect for myself, who I was. I was embarrassed by my family. I didn't really like to be picked up from school by my dad or my mum, because I felt that they looked funny. The way that they spoke sounded funny in comparison to the way everybody else spoke. Even my lips. That's a good case in point. I thought that they were really ugly and too big, especially when I was a teenager. I thought that I would never be able to find somebody, a mate, so to speak, because the girls that were around me were always into guys that didn't look like me. And I remember a young lady saying something like, he's quite nice as a person, but his lips are so big that I would, what did she say? I would be afraid to kiss him. I took it as really,
something was wrong with you.
To heart. Not that she was somebody, not that she had a preference, and that her preference obviously didn't include black people. It wasn't for me about black people, it was about I am this ugly black thing. And even though I had cousins around me, people who were very proud of who they were, I somehow wasn't able to relate to that. So anyway, now I see that as a good thing, even though it wasn't a good thing at the time, because it birthed in me a longing to find meaning in my life, to find a way to deal with all this lack of self-esteem and the lack of confidence that grew from it, a lack of self-knowledge, a continuous desire to joke inappropriately, so that I never engaged in serious discussions about self, you know. So if we fast forward a bit, when I was in my early 20s, I was part of a youth club in the college that I was attending, and there was a man there called Des, who was a fantastic youth worker, really amazing, who used to create discussions and platforms for us to talk about things related to manhood, related to being and life, and all sorts of scenarios. And I found that when I spoke about those things, people would listen.
Because they could find themselves in those stories, isn't it?
They could find themselves in those things. And then also that there was something about the way that I put things that people seemed to like. So they would ask me to say more, or say things so that I would speak more. But it was many years before I realized that there was something about the way that I spoke, even though they told me that, I didn't really believe it. Now, parallel to that was the storytelling, because I've always been an avid reader, and I used to tell stories. I used to make up stories with 2 pencils. A whole world of things would happen with these 2 pencils, you know, and I tell myself stories.
I like that.
And I tell younger cousins stories, and then I would tell stories to my younger brother. And then, of course, when I had children, I would tell them stories. But the actual first time that I told a story as a performance storytelling piece, it came about through my discovering a martial arts called Kazimba Ngoma. This is a martial art that is an African origin martial art that has been reinvented in the 1970s by 2 people from the Caribbean who did lots of different martial arts forms, but were also trained in martial arts forms from the islands that they came from. Anyway, I started doing this martial arts, and as part of it, it had a performance element. I did a voiceover for a story written by one of our instructors.
Right.
One of our masters was supposed to tell the story. He was ill, so he couldn't tell the story. Because I'd done the voiceover, they said to me, I should tell this story. So although I was really reluctant and afraid actually to do this, I did. And people received it really well. Each time we did this story, they then got me to tell the story. So I learned that, oh, I can tell stories and people like it. But for many years, that was the only story that I told. Because I was afraid. I thought, if I tell another story, it won't really work. I thought that I was a fake. So even though everybody around me said, you are a fantastic story. You can really tell. When you told that story, I was enthralled, even though that was happening. I somehow didn't really believe it. And it's only through finding purpose in working with young people that I started to see myself as a storyteller. Because the stories are indigenous to all of us. Whether the stories come from Africa, China, Asia, Eastern Europe, or even from here. There's something indigenous in us that relates to storytelling in each and every human being, each and every human being. Which actually reminds me of a story I tell about the key to life, which is in all of us. So when working with children, hard to reach children who everybody says, you can't work with that person, they just won't sit down. They won't listen. They are disruptive. They are blah, 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 blah. All negative things. Give all these labels. I found that when I told those children stories, all the things that they were supposed to not be able to do, they could do. They would sit down. They would listen with real attention. They would respond to questions. They would engage in conversation. All these things they can't do, apparently. They would do these things. They would be in a group and do these things, even though they were supposed to not be able to relate to their peers in groups. So I discovered that there was a power in the stories, and I started to get out of my own way. That was the key thing. I realized that the stories had their own power, that my ancestors were speaking through my mouth. And as soon as I realized that, I got out of my own way. I stopped saying, I am not a storyteller. I am not good at this. I can't do that. And started to realize that I connected with my governor.
Definitely.
I did. And I said, okay, stories come through, come forth. So now when I speak to young people in a situation where I'm given the opportunity to do what I do best, which is to bring the stories forth.
To heal them.
To heal them. Well, to have them heal themselves. Because it's not I who am healing them. I'm a vessel. The ancestors come through me, but they'll say the ancestors are within them. So it's only that they are not paying attention to that. So the stories awaken that attention.
Now, as you speak about the storytelling, I know that you're doing lots more than storytelling. Give us I'm asking you this question because you say to me you're doing something around narratives, holistic well-being. What do you call it?
Narrative mindfulness.
So it's kind of similar. Now, I'm one of those people who believe in self-discovery. I say, having to be a woman who was born in South Africa, a horrifying piece of land that Mathebula was born in. was the most challenging place for me to be sent to, and God decided to send me there, right on a very when the fire was still boiling so much. And I remember me at the age of 3, 4, 5, having to every month run under the bed to hide away from the white man who would come and break doors and beat the man in front of us, and sometimes every month take off the glasses, the doors, the windows, because they didn't pay the rent for one day. Maybe they were supposed to pay the rent on the 29th, but then they didn't pay the rent until the 1st. So because of you pay the rent on the 1st, you get beaten up in front of your wife. So having to come from that kind of environment, from age 3 until age 16, 17. So that was very scary for me. But you know what I did? The thing that helped me to find me was self-discovery. Just going into the unknown and getting into a room. I remember the first time I went into a room of retreat, which I didn't know what that was, and finding people sitting in a circle and talking about their problems. And I thought, can people share problems? This is very interesting. And I sat down, and one white lady complained. She was talking about her story back home, how she was treated. The Chinese was talking, and I thought, it's not only us. I mean, these people are talking about really painful things. So I think now I'm saying this because of you've got a very important place in this world. For you are facilitating a space. You have kind of given yourself to the human race and say, I'm going to be a vessel that's going to try to help you find yourself through my words. How does that resonate with you, what I have just said, in your own ways, as you work as a person that you do?
Well, amongst the Yoruba people, there's a long tradition of eloquence and of people using words to elevate and inspire. So when you say that, I resonate with those aspects that my words elevate and inspire in ways that are useful for those people who are participants in the facilitation experiences that I offer, or who are audiences, or that I never have audiences, it's always participants. But let me just use the term audiences to the storytelling. Because I grew up in a Muslim household, I'm also cautious of saying that I am a prophet. I am certainly not a prophet. I'm a person who has come to an understanding of my purpose, why I am here, what my gifts are for. So I'm about awakening in other people that same understanding for them. After all, when you consider the term genetics, it's no mistake that, and I mentioned earlier, I don't think I mentioned it in this particular broadcast, but even in the English language, which is a young language comparatively, there is truth in the words of that language. So genetics is not surprising or by mistake that the prefix GEN in genetics is also the same as the prefix in the term genius, or in genealogy, or in generation. All of these things are related. All of us have hundreds of thousands of ancestors that make us up
to be who we are today.
To make us who we are today. It's almost ridiculous to believe that in all of those ancestors there was no genius.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
It's ridiculous to believe that we cannot access our ancestral genius when we know that we can access physical traits, where people will come up to me and say, you look like your grandfather. You remind me of somebody that I have personally never met. I talk like them. I talk about similar things.
Exactly.
Those things really make it clear.
And they have a deep meaning.
They have a deep meaning.
Yeah.
They make it clear that when all the going out to find ourselves is actually upside down, upside down, outside in. We're supposed to go in to find ourselves. Ourselves is here.
Beautiful. Now, if you have to define your storytelling in 3 words, because I know when it comes to storytelling, there's an essence where someone speaks and they reach your inner, and they bring you into maturity of understanding and growth. And then you've got another side of storytelling that brings you to joyness and to fire, where you wanna move and touch the butterflies, and it's like you are untouchable with joy. And then you've got a storytelling which is more kind of political and try to put orders into the unorderly world that we're living in terms of where would you fit in. And then you've got a spiritual storytelling. How do you define your storytelling? And would you give us a little bit of a hint of a story?
Yes, today? Indeed.
Yeah.
Well, when you're doing this with your hand, it actually defines how I see myself. Yeah. So I'm like water, quite fluid. Yeah. So all of those elements of storytelling that you spoke of are part of me. And I tell stories in all of those aspects, sometimes bringing them all together. In fact, it's very rare, particularly if I'm working with young people for a purpose or doing a community storytelling piece, which I do regularly. Yeah. I bring them together because I desire to leave something resonant with the people who hear the stories. I desire to create an experience through the storytelling that will have people think about themselves. So here's a story that I often tell to children. If I'm given a group of young people, I tend to tell this story first. And it's a story from Ghana. I think the Ghanaians call it Fly, Eagle, Fly.
Fly, Eagle, Fly, I like that.
So there was a man. He was walking through a farm. And it was a beautiful day. He was enjoying himself. And on the farm, there were all these chickens doing what chickens do. So the man walked through the farm and then he saw something that made him stop and stare. I don't believe it. Because in front of him, there was a chicken that was this big. Now, I don't know about you, but he had never seen a chicken like that before. So he looked closer, saw that this chicken was not a chicken, it was an eagle. But the eagle was going about like a chicken. So he said, I'm going to teach this eagle how to fly. So he took the eagle, he climbed to the top of a barn. He put the eagle up and you can help me actually. Put the eagle up on your arm like this. So you do this. And he said, behold yourself and fly. So let's say that together. Behold yourself and fly. And he threw the eagle in the air and the eagle flapped to the ground, going like a chicken. The man climbed down, carried it to the top of a tree. At the top of the tree, he did the same again. So he said, behold yourself and fly away. Yeah. And he threw the eagle in the air. The eagle spread her wings. And then she flapped to the ground, going like a chicken. It was enough for the man carried this eagle to the top of a mountain. At the top of the mountain, he looked down, far, far, far below. Could see the silver ribbon of a river winding through the land. The trees, the flowers, the scents. The eagle could see clouds below her. She had never, ever been that high before. And a feeling entered her heart. And the man did the same. He held the eagle up on his arm and he said, behold yourself and fly. And the eagle spread her wings and she began to soar. Swoop, because she realized that she was an eagle and not a chicken. So it's a story that I tell children. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Because children very often, particularly in the West, where personal development is not a group thing, children are not dancing together, they're not singing together, they're not affirming each other, they're not working together on projects that are creative, which they do often in Africa, whether it's making meals together or finding something for their adults, or going to get water in the river. You know, they're not doing that here.
You're an amazing storyteller.
Thank you, thank you.
I've met people. You see. Now this is where I'm gonna come in, you guys, because now what you just did now, it's exactly what I thought I would get. There are lots of people who get successful in this world for what's not theirs. You are born a storyteller, and I think I feel very honored that I'm sitting here with you, and we are working together in doing something together for Vibrantly African. And I feel very honored that you are passing through my path as a storyteller to come in something that I have organized and touch people with your soul. And the world is yours. I mean, you can never have that voice. You can never have, your governor just came out. It's the first time that I meet you in storytelling now. At this present moment, I just met your higher governor. And yeah, thank you so much for you saying yes to being in Vibrantly African, and I will do my best to try to promote and for people to come and see you, because of storytelling. I say storytelling, it's not an ego thing. Storytelling, it's not see me, I can. It's not, because lots of people do that. Lots of people do things for them to be seen instead of them just seeing the spirit that they own. Because of when you do something, it's not you, it's a spirit that has to come out of your body and present itself and say, this is who I am, and then having it back. And you do it like that. I wish I could hear that story again. Yeah, it's incredible.
You probably will many times. Well, thank you. All those of you who know Carol must also know that you are also a storyteller. You may not be a professional storyteller who makes that your profession, but when you talk about your life, I'm entranced. I listen with my inner ears and my heart to what you say. I am vibrant is the perfect word for what you are doing, because you are vibrant, and your vibrance is infectious. It's that which makes me want to do this, to come into Vibrantly African.
I say thank you once again, and I say in my life I have met all kinds of people, and I respect them. I have a highly respect, especially for the people who knows that. I say to people, we aren't what we think we are. We are in a mystic. This thing is a mystic. It's an airplane that it's water, and we ever standing on this water. People think that they can't walk. They can't walk on water, and I say, what are you talking about? Every moment when you put your feet coming out of your bed it's kind of it's like a boat. And the moment you leave that boat and you put your feet on the ground, you are actually stepping on water. It's water, isn't it? And those who I respect really deeply, which I do respect you at this point, and it has nothing to do with the fact that you're coming to Vibrantly African. Even if you wouldn't come, I would always remember the moment I met the brother at the park, and we went to the park. You touched me very deeply then. How you touched me, you didn't touch Carol, you touched my governor. And my governor understood. And because of you taught me something. And so to go back again to why we're here, is that I say to people, he's amazing. You should listen to him. his storytelling. And I haven't even heard you telling a story. But guess what I had? Your voice. I thought with that voice, when the brother makes a storytelling, it will be out of this world. So now to go back to you, where do you see yourself? I'm gonna ask you 5 questions. First one will be, where are you going? What is this journey? How do you see the journey? What is the brighter future for your journey?
Well, as I've already said, that I inspiration, particularly for young people.
Around the world.
Right. So most recently, I came back from Sierra Leone after having done a storytelling engagement with a school in Maronka School in Puerto Rico. As you see, I write as well.
Yes.
And this is because, as I say, storytelling is indigenous to all of us, but it is particularly and more recently indigenous to Africa. Africans forgetting this kind of thing is upsetting for me. So I really work hard to bring it back, and not only myself. There are a few storytellers who are doing very similar things, such as Usiku Jallo and Griot Chinyere, or to mention a few. I bring it from the ancestors back to the land where those ancestors came from. And it resonates in those young Africans in powerful ways. It resonates here as well. In Africa, the impact that it has is quite profound as people suddenly realize things about their own culture that they didn't really think about before. They didn't see that in their culture were all these keys to understanding their governance.
Right. Now, having to ask, do you then sometimes create retreats where people go and make fire and get surrounded with you telling stories? Do you do that?
Actually,
do you invite us to the wilderness somewhere where we can come in with our tents and just really be mesmerized by your story? Do you do anything like that? Or can someone from around the world invite you over if they have functional and then they need someone of a profound, deep sense of understanding? Yes.
Yeah, so the answer is yes, with a proviso, which is that this is, in answer to your question, how do you see yourself? So I see myself doing precisely those kind of things. And when I close my eyes, that's what I see. I see a school, which will definitely be in Africa, where people come to learn storytelling, to reinvigorate that art. But in terms of sitting around fires and all those kind of things, I've been doing that for many years. However, it's not I that have created those experiences. I've gone to Storytell as part of somebody else's experience.
I would like to know the date. I'll be the first one with my tent and with my blanket.
Really?
I'll be the first one.
Okay.
I think it's important that we go to you where you have created a retreat where we can come and find our inner kind of a self-discovery. I am saying I'm the first client to do
well
that.
Then, so this is great because at this moment in time, I've been putting on a monthly events called Rebirth of the Griot.
Yeah.
And it's the last Thursday of every month. And it started quite small. It's growing and it's in the Tottenham community in Haringey. Now, from the moment when I spoke with...
when is it this month? When
so
is
it'll
the
be
date?
the 27th.
27th.
Thursday,
Okay.
the 27th.
Is it in the day or in the evening?
It's in the evening.
It's in the evening.
7 p.m. to 10 p.m.
We'll talk about it.
And we'll talk about that.
Yes.
So when I first mentioned the idea to MC Buzzin B, or James, who I call Master James because of his capacity to organize and create, we agreed that this showcase would be a seed, a golden seed, which is involved in one of my stories actually, for wider development, that it would become courses then it would become training, then it would become retreats and presentations and all of those things. So it will be, and it already is actually, in the world where everything comes from, in the universe where manifestation happens, it already is.
So that was the question number 5. And then question number 4 is, now for you as a person that you come, do you ever get upset because you look like someone who's balanced? How do you manage to deal with your emotions? Because I say the most dangerous thing on this planet for all of us, for each and every human, it's emotion.
Yes.
Because emotion makes us. I'm so sorry to cut. I thought today, what is mental illness? And I say, do we actually have mental illness, or is it mental illness? The sense of a human being denying to understand their brains because of the mental illness. It's when you are fighting against what your soul and your brain is saying. What do you say with that? How do you deal with the mental issues and stress and all this as a man?
Well, I've been very fortunate and blessed to have found groups of men who have afforded me some techniques to deal with stress, to deal with groups of people who are stressed. And they haven't always been African, so there's a band of brothers, what are they called? I'm very sorry, I will remember soon. The Mankind Project, then there's the African ones, the Manhood Academy, Origin. All of these have rites of passage technologies. Rites of passage technologies. And I've been around them for a long time. So they've helped me to bring my storytelling into that channel, if you like, to promote and to inspire rites of passage. Now, I'm glad that you say that I'm balanced. I do have emotional upheaval in my life. I always think that it's not so much whether you get upset, it's what you do after you've been upset. How do you rebalance? If you think of a weighing scale, if the weighing scale is like this, when you balance it, it never goes like this. It always goes like this.
Yes, because there's been weight on it.
That's right. Yeah. So that's what emotions are like. Balancing emotions is not a process that just happens like that. Yeah. It takes some time, and it takes a real sense of intent and intention to do that. Now, that's in answer to your question, it's because of my intent. My intention is to be balanced. So even when I'm out of balance, I seek to redress that. Eckhart Tolle said, and you'll see why I'm saying this, Eckhart Tolle said, if you're enlightened, if you have spent 5 years, 10 years, decades on top of the holy mountain, meditating and breathing on rarefied air, drinking from the stream, if you consider yourself enlightened, go and spend a weekend with your family. Then you'll know whether you're really enlightened.
That's a good one.
You know?
That's a good one. That's a good one.
You know?
That was beautiful. Now, number 3. Where was it? Number 3. What was the question? What do you have for us in store in terms of Vibrantly?
Vibrantly African.
Now, what do you see? How does that feel for you so far? Because of we are 3 and something months ahead of it. How does that feel for you? What is this space?
It's very exciting.
Way, yes.
It's very, very exciting.
And how so?
Well,
we start with exciting.
Exciting in so many ways. Exciting because of how you have presented yourself. You've presented it, but it's you I'm actually looking at. When you talk about this, I look at you. Is she congruent with the things that she says about this potential event? And you are congruent with it. Because of this, I feel excited. I think I've spoken to other people, so Sister Kemi, Sister Chinyere, people who've been involved in Vibrantly African in the past. And what they say about Vibrantly African makes me even more excited. And then I think about the sister you spoke to yesterday. I think about the caliber of people who you are calling together to present at Vibrantly African. And it just feels like not only exciting to perform, but the people I'm going to meet, the conversations I'm going to have, the experiences I'm going to have from it by listening to, looking at other people's presentations, you know, the people I'm going to meet who come as participants or in the audience. It just feels like, it's like good food awaiting a delicious meal, a feast.
I tell you, when you say that, what I'm feeling at this moment, I'm feeling like tears kind of becoming humble in a way, because if I say everything, it's like I see my great grandma in this present moment. You'll see my eyes when something is about to happen, my eyes turn into, I say, I'm innocently new in this country. And having to be, for 25 years, I have worked not with my people. I have been working with the West. I have been everywhere, the Middle East, Germany, France, and everywhere I was the only black girl with her bag. Lots of green eyes, blue eyes, yellow eyes, and for a while, I felt as if I was isolated. Yes, the money was fantastic. The travelings were fantastic. There was a moment in 2010 when my father got ill, really ill. Then I had to go back home and look at my father. I remember entering the home of my father and seeing all the people of my home. And I felt as if I was a stranger because they couldn't relate with me because of I have been, and I didn't know that I didn't understand what they meant when they say we can't relate with you, because suddenly I was a stranger in my own domain. Not that I wanted to be a stranger. And this is the Vibrantly African. It's coming home for me. I think people might not understand. It's not about the money behind it. It's not about. It's about me having to, having to be on my own since the age of 13, running around the world because of not having my family. My father was not there. My mom was not there. So I rebel. There was a moment where I rebel my people. I said, you don't look after me. You don't want to know me. You don't see me. So because of you don't see me, I'm just going to get lost to the world. And I took my bag and I flew to the world. And while I was flying to the world, I said, the only thing that I will carry as I fly to this unknown world is to take my heritage and greet the world with it. So I started the African massage, which was African. I brought the herbs. I did whatever that I have learned to remember that I'm still a black girl, but I was lost, angry as well because I've been raped 28 times. So there was a moment where I just wanted to swim out of the blackness because I felt, and because of the white people, they gave me a sense of come home. They gave me a platform. I phoned Germany. They said yes. Wherever I phoned, it was the first time for me to feel like people said, "Ah, here is Carol. She's beautiful." She's like, and then 2010 and 2011, I felt like it's like I was getting crazy, and I was thinking, where are my people? Where are my people? Where? And then I came here 2013, and for me to come to London, it was to meet the black people. And I thought London will be the best place for me to meet my family because of it's the place of the world. And having to say that was because I was still angry with South Africa. I was still angry with my brothers. I was still angry with those who beat me up. I was still so vibrantly African for me. It is a sense of finding me through those who are doing a sense of healing, those who are healing themselves. Yes, I'm healed in many ways, but I'm a girl who's lost, saying, family, I need you, and I'll work 24 hours a day to try to create a place where I can create a sense of community. And in me creating the sense of community, yet I'm also shy, yet I'm also very vulnerable. The moment things get a little bit, I hide away. So I'm doing this vibrantly African so I can be able to not hide away, that I can be able to stand in front of. So this is vibrantly African.
Yes, indeed. Shit.
So thank you so much for being a part of it. And the last questions will end up at the day of Vibrantly African. Once again, you have been a king as I've met you and felt you and say Vibrantly African, 28th of September. It is a place. If it's a place for healing for me, it's a place for healing for you. If it's a home away from home for me, it's a home away from home for you, because of I've met a brother, I've met sisters, and every day I'm meeting brothers and sisters. So hallelujah. And thank you so much for this wonderful interview.
Thank you so much.
Even though it started very crooked,
yes,
but it ended up very well.
It did indeed. It did indeed.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sister.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sister. Ashima.
Wow. So guys, this was it. As you know, I keep it real. Life, it's all about we being who we are. It's all about we telling, the tongue, it's there to represent this. This does not move until the tongue moves. And the eyes don't move until so we are still. And so use your tongue to the best. Tell where you are. And as you have just heard, Vibrantly African, it's a home for me, coming home and getting a sense of healing. So I love you very much, you guys. As you can see, it brings the most amazing souls around it. Be a part of it. Come join us. If you are in London, you just entered here and you have left home because you didn't understand home and you want to meet family, come over. If you wanna meet family starting from now, the brother is, as you have heard, he has gathering on a monthly basis that happens. So contact us, contact him. He's gonna give you his details. Go there. It's amazing. It's always nice, Family, it's not only those that you came from. Actually, they normally say family are those that you choose yourself as your friends, as whoever. So when does the event take place on a monthly basis?
So Rebirth of the Griot takes place in Tottenham Sports Centre at the moment. And that's in, I think it's 703 Tottenham High Road. It's from 7 till 10 p.m. on the 27th of this month. It's always on the last Thursday of every month. Yeah.
And how do we get you? What are your channels?
Okay, so I wonder if this shows, if people can see this clearly. No, it's backwards, isn't it?
I'll put it this way. There we go. Yes. It's us. Yes. So this is your book, by the way.
Yeah.
Where do they get this one if somebody wants to buy? And you guys, you should buy it. It's incredibly amazing. I read it and it's so easy because it's not such a lot of books. You can start and finish it within a blink of an eye.
Yes.
Where do people get it if they have
so you can get it by contacting me. If you Facebook Sola Story, that's SOLA STORY, or Narrative Mindfulness. You will find me in that. Also for Instagram, the same thing, Shola Story. I mentioned Rebirth of the Griot, so if you do Instagram, Rebirth of the Griot, you will find me there also. The website, www.narrativemindfulness.com, is undergoing some repair at the moment. So within the month, you'll be able to use that too. But I would just contact me and I will give you whatever information you need then. You can email me on info@narrativemindfulness.com, and that's NARATIVEMINDFULNESS.com, narrativemindfulness.com, and we can continue the conversation from that. This story, Nayinka's daughter, is definitely a story that came from the ancestors and came through me via my pen.
And I hear that there's lots of snake around this. You spoke a lot about snake.
Yeah.
Could you touch base on that?
Yeah. So in ancient times, the serpent, the understanding of the serpent was through understanding that we have within us an energy that
they call it
Kundalini
yes.
in India. Yeah.
Yes.
This serpent, and in the ancient Greeks, use the term Urias to describe what the ancient Kemetic or Egyptian people used to wear on their crowns. The idea is that this energy awakens within us. It rises from our groin up through our chakras, through our spine, and opens at the top of our heads. And all of us have this energy. It's not a religious thing. This is a thing to understand. It's a spiritual thing, as in spiritual mechanics. It is whether you believe it or not. Understanding it means that you can track it, you can feel it as it happens, and then you know that it is true. So the snake, the reason why I explain the snake in that way is that for many of us, particularly Africans who are Christianized, see the snake or the serpent as the devil.
As a devil.
The devil.
So
the snake is an animal.
Oh.
It's not the devil. It's one of the creations of the Creator.
Oh,
it's not an evil creature. The snake is not an evil creature, neither is an antelope. It's just as an antelope. And it's symbolically used as rebirth or regeneration because it sheds its skin. That's why people,
and it suffers when it does that. I've seen a snake doing that. It suffers a lot. It has to stay there for about 5 days, and it was like pushing. And when it takes out the skin, it becomes naked like this. And it becomes very painful. Nobody can touch that snake at that time. And I was watching the snake, but the sad thing is that they came and killed it. And I found it there dead. And I thought, why did you kill this beautiful thing? It was just transforming itself into, it was just doing its nature. The fact, as you say, Black people hate snakes. They see a snake. I don't know what's the problem with us Africans and snakes. I've seen people killing snakes, and I'm thinking, why do they do that? So when I read this, I thought, wow, yeah. So if you want to know about the deeper essence of African spirituality in a simple way, especially for the West, get this book. It's really, really beautiful. Prada, thank you so much for this.
Thank you.
Finally, we did it. And what time is it? My God, it's 8:30. We were supposed to start at 6 o'clock.
We tried.
We tried.
Yes.
I thank you so much. So, guys, thank you so much. You'll see me again soon. I know I haven't been doing this Facebook talks. I've been doing. Oh no, we are on Instagram. We are on YouTube. I'm so sorry. So I'll send it to you guys on Facebook. I'll send it to you. Those that I promise on the groups in WhatsApp, it's coming. I know you're thinking, she says she's doing a storytelling. Where is she? Now it's coming tomorrow. You'll get it in your groups, you guys. Thank you so much, and keep calm and keep lovely, and please do come to Vibrantly African and share the post. We're going to be sharing a lot of marketing at this moment. We're going to be sharing with you people who are coming. We've got amazing people on board. I don't know if you know about Brother Kofi. He's just amazing. I just went to his workshop this Sunday as well. So next, I think sometime next week, I'm going to be having an interview with him as well. Amazing brother. So watch this space. Watch this space. It's a place for healers. All the beautiful African healers getting together to do their best of their ability to awaken our sisters within us. So as I shall say, thank you very much. I love you guys, and you're gonna hear a lot from me again. I've been away for a while because of busy arranging Vibrantly African. So stay blessed. This is Carol Mathebula saying, ciao, 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 ciao. Bella. Bye bye. Oh, that was fantastic. I'm going to edit it.
Right. Okay.
It was really, really beautiful.
It was
just incredible.
Yes.
It's just incredible.
Yeah. It was beautiful to be involved in.
Pardon?
It was beautiful to be involved in.
It was really